The biggest missing link in the story for evolution is the jump from life to non-life that they imagine happened, from non-life to life, how little chemicals in the ocean turned into living things and made bacteria that were based on RNA and all this other kind of stuff in the story. The second biggest leap is going from prokaryotes to eukaryotes, things that have a nucleus and that have mitochondria and chloroplasts from bacteria. And the theory that saved evolution was the endosymbiont theory by Lynn Margulis in the 1970s, along with Niles Eldredge and Stephen Jay Gould's punctuated equilibrium theory for the rest of evolution after that. Now, Lynn Margulis disagreed very much with Gould and Eldredge. I actually met Dr. Margulis at where she was speaking, University in Cincinnati one time, I believe it was. And now there's new stuff on her symbiont theory. Because she disagrees with punctuated equilibrium, NASA cut off her funding. The other evolutionists won't let her play in any reindeer games. But her idea was ingestion without digestion, that some big cells absorbed bacteria that were photosynthetic and didn't digest them, and those became the chloroplasts of plant cells today. And that these same cells ingested some other bacteria that could do ATP synthesis, and those became the mitochondria that we see in all living cells today. Well, bacterial DNA is wildly different from mitochondrial DNA, even in its basic structure. But of course, mitochondria have way less genes than free living organisms need, and so do chloroplasts. Although mitochondria and chloroplasts can make copies of themselves, that's just about all the information they've got is how to do that. They need a cell to live in. So look at what it says: recreating mitochondrial evolution, because they've imitated the process that they've imagined. They think they've proved it. Look, mitochondria are thought to have once been bacteria. Yeah, thought, that's nice. Over time, they may have lost many of the genes. This scenario has support from genetics. No, only if you already believe it and imagine it. It's a fairy tale. It's okay. It's a smart fairy tale. It's clever, but the mechanism on how this marvelous, magnificent process could actually have happened, there is no mechanism. Just ingestion without digestion. So that's a problem that Margulis, was. Actually, I got to talk with her at a reception, and although she was a little sad at she expressed sadness at the state of science education in this country, that I could have a doctoral degree and still be a creationist and not believe in evolution. She ended up telling me stories at the reception about her arguments with Eldredge. Gould had already passed away, but her and Eldredge continue to argue about whether mutation plus natural selection really drives evolution. She doesn't think so. She believes that like higher organisms like the dinosaurs, it was just a result of bacteria putting all their DNA together and building like Legos, building T-Rexes and people and eagles and giraffes and everything, all from bacterial DNA that started to form by accident. This is called inheritance of acquired genomes. It was her whole idea. But anyway, the other evolutionists hate that idea because they know how bad it sounds. So what they did was they took some yeast and they crippled it, destroyed some DNA so that it couldn't produce ATP. Then they put some E. coli and crippled it, destroyed a gene that makes vitamin B, and then they gave the bacteria a kind of a mechanism, which it never had, so that it could make ATP and then give it to the yeast and move the ATP out of its cell. They later admit there's no advantage to any organism to give its ATP away, but that doesn't stop them from getting all excited. They said the yeast kept digesting the bacteria, so then they had to give the bacteria some kind of a protein that prevented the yeast lysosomes from dismantling it, from digesting it. They made all this happen. They went totally against the nature of yeast and bacteria as we know from science and observation. It exists and made these things, made these little Frankenstein monsters out of it. Well, they said they got 40 generations of it working. They caused it to happen. They made happen what they thought should have happened. And then they said, look, this proves it. Bacteria have no interest in sending their ATP outside their cell. It said the mitochondria precursor bacteria may have been parasites or endosymbionts, and they just say it over and over and over again until it sounds true to you. They're just recapping, reprising the same old story, whether this experiment is solid proof of it or not. I'm like the little quote from Stephen that actually it's a fake meme, but it's a picture of Richard Dawkins saying, "I'm just going to keep saying science until you believe in monkey people." And that's kind of what they're doing here. They're just going to keep saying it. Endosymbiont, endosymbiont. They said it's exciting. What's exciting is they believe they pulled the wool over your eyes again, but you keep thinking. I've got lots of info down here about this. So enjoy that, and God bless you.